Hey guys, what's up? It's Looney TNT. So today is a Let's Talk. We're going to talk about all the information that we have about Legion. Obviously, there's going to be bits and pieces that I miss. I'm going to cover the things that I'm excited about. I wanted to give it a little bit of time before I made this video because I wanted to make sure everything was out and I could examine everything and kind of put together the way I feel. Now, this is kind of a series just like all the other YouTubers do. They have their real talks and things like that they talk about what they feel and what they're excited about. This is just mine, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. All right, so first thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the nostalgia trip that they're trying to bring us on, which I think is cool. I really do. And actually, before we start that, there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of people that are like, you know, I want to be excited, but I can't be, you know. Let it go, man. You know, if you're excited about this expansion, if there's some stuff that you really enjoyed, hey, embrace it. Be excited about World of Warcraft, you know? I think that's the biggest thing is if you're not excited about it, it's going to be negative. There's going to be something negative to it. Warlords, man, I was really hyped and it sucked. And I understand that. But hopefully they've learned from this, and I'm going to be excited about this expansion. I'm going to get this expansion. I'm going to test this expansion, and hopefully it's everything that we hope it's to be, you know? So it's okay to be excited about it. Be cautious, but it's okay to be excited. So let's go ahead and talk about the nostalgia, though. Oh, man. Illidan, Dalaran, Sargeras. Everything is just... There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff to be excited about. Demon Hunters, come on. The coolest thing that was taking out of this is, you know, Ashbringer. See, I'm missing so much. The coolest thing that I brought out of this whole thing, though, was not so much the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter is a giant thing for a lot of people. Demon Hunter, I'll talk about Demon Hunter in a little bit, but that's not the most exciting part for me. What the exciting part for me is the artifact weapons. Because when we go into new expansions, we don't have to have artifact weapons. I think weapons in general can level up and do things. I think gear in general could level up and do things and make your own, you know, sets or whatever and stronger. I think there's a lot of possibility to do with this system, and I'm very excited about the system, the talent system for weapons, whatever it is. That said, artifact weapons are a cool idea too. The thing that I've noticed about the artifact weapons is I think they are pushing, they're pushing a certain direction for a lot of these specs. I think there's going to be a lot of cookie cutter builds for a lot of these specs, and not so much like, you know, you're taking this over this over this. I think they're pushing you into a dual wielding Frost Death Knight rather than a two-hander. They're pushing the Fire Mage into a dagger offhand situation rather than a staff. I think they're going to push people into that direction, which changes the gameplay of a lot of players. Not 100% sure what they're going to do with Fury Warriors, because Fury Warriors can dual wield two-handers, or they can have a one-handers and a two-hander and a one-hander. There's a lot of different ways they can go, so it's going to be interesting to see where they're trying to push the classes. Because classes, for me, seem like they are going to be transformed in this expansion. Big time. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. And it wasn't said at all about any of the classes. There were some interviews that gave you a little bit of information of a few, but I think there's going to be a giant change. I think the classes are going to be playing way different than we expected. Due to just some of these changes they're going for and some of the weapons that you're going to have to use. Because it's almost a have to, right? I watched the panel a couple times because I wanted to get the wording right. Because Blizzard is really good at that. About wording things and changing things. The Q&A, It was a Q&A, right? But it wasn't what we expected, and they apologized. Oh, we worded it different. Blizzard does this a lot. Now, when they were talking about the artifact weapons, they mentioned in it, you have the choice to use your artifact weapon, which means there will be weapon drops. But that's just like when you're in Siege of Orgrimmar and a cape drops. You're not going to use that cape. You got your legendary cape. So you have that option, but there's no way that you're going to be using it. I think it's going to be something in those lines. But let's talk about melee hunters real quick, right? Survival. Let's go into some of the changes that I think are going to be giant. Now we're going to have a melee-based hunter, and I've had discussions on some of my videos about the melee hunter when I'm talking about him, and people are like, well, there's always been melee hunters. They used to have them back in the day. They weren't really a melee hunter. You had a couple skills that you could use as melee, but if you were being a melee hunter, you were just bad at the game. You didn't know what you were doing because the combat attacks for hunters were horrible. It was just, it's not working. It's like hitting with a staff as a mage. It just did not work. But so to bring out this melee hunter, which is going to be crazy, it's going to survival only. You're going to be able to use the pet. And then marksman, they've already kind of dwelled in the non-pet hunter thing. So marksman is going to kind of be like the way you're playing it right now with Lone Wolf, if you're playing with Lone Wolf. And then beast mastery is going to be the typical hunter that we know today. They're changing warlocks also. I don't know if anybody got this information too, but they're changing warlocks. Demonology is going to go through a huge change, which they're going to be a summoning class, pretty much. They're going to be heavily influenced in the pet summoning of the demons, right? They're summoning demons. That's what the spec was intended to be in the beginning. But they had their meta form where they would transform into this demon and they would get all crazy, and you know, it was such a cool play style. But they're going to have to get away from that. And the reason they're getting away from that is because a simple reason. That's a demon hunter, is what it is. Demo's meta form, when you look at all the spells and everything it does, that is a demon hunter. It doesn't have double jump, but that is a demon hunter almost, right? I know there's a lot of differences, but it's almost a demon hunter. So you're going to have to switch out a lot of these abilities and take away these abilities, which they're already going to do. Hence probably the giant nerf for Demo, even though they're still good. There's a giant nerf for them, right? But demon hunters are taking a lot of their abilities and a lot of their play style with them. So that's why they're changing them. Destruction is going to be the bursty, fire, kind of the way it is right now. Affliction is going to be the, what did they call it? The decay style. They're going to keep it the same, but they're switching that up. How are they going to switch all the other classes? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm sure there's going to be big changes for all the classes. If you just look at the two that they mentioned, which are the Hunter and Warlock, completely redoing two major specs in those classes. I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing. They also even discussed something with the Priest being a 50% healer, 50% DPS. Really? I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know. I think there's going to be giant changes, and I'm excited to see what's new, but I hope they don't screw it up. Hopefully they do good. So let's talk about the Demon Hunter since we touched on it a little bit. I'm excited about the Demon Hunter. I will roll a Demon Hunter, and I will probably not main it. I'll still probably main my Warlock, but I will play the Demon Hunter a lot and learn how to play it and make some guides about him and have some fun stuff with double jump, trying to get into some cool areas that maybe you couldn't get into. I don't know. We're going to see. The Demon Hunter, though, is not as exciting to me as it is for other people. like we just discussed, it's a demo warlock in a sense. Just like if they were to bring out a necromancer as a hero class. Kind of like a death knight, kind of like a warlock, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, well, they have those abilities. I don't know if there's any, other than being able to see and vis targets, you could argue flare and things like that, but I don't know if they have any real unique, other than double jump, unique things that they bring to the table yet. I'm sure they have some cool stuff, so we're going to see. Seems like a really mobile class, but rogues and warriors are pretty quick. Rogues are almost continuously keep 70% speed bonus when they're running that flag. You know, they're pretty quick. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what's there. So I'm excited about them, though. I think it's going to be fun, but maybe just not excited as other people. So let's talk about artifact weapons. Ooh, baby. Are you guys ready? Artifact weapons, everybody wielding an Ashbringer and a Doom Hammer and whatever things they're going to be wielding. I think it's going to be cool. I don't think it's going to be as bad as everybody thinks. There's a lot of criticism. Well, everybody's going to be having a Ashbringer. Well, there's a lot of different cosmetic looks, and I think that's what they're going for. So you can look at, you know, 10 paladins, and depending on what spec they are, and depending on what path they've chose to take their weapon, it's going to be different. So there could be 10 different weapons from 10 different paladins. Who knows? I think it's going to be very interesting to see the way they go with that direction. The biggest thing is I'm really excited about the leveling of the weapon. The talent system for the weapon. Because that makes it very intriguing for weapon, gear, rings, whatever you are. There could be anything that has a talent-based system, or maybe you get a helmet that is like, it's not that good, right? It's not as good as the next tier, but now this helmet can level up a couple times. So maybe you want to go back to that old rate. I don't know. I'm just getting crazy with that, but you know, there's a lot of possibilities, and I think it's going to be cool. PvP. Well, they didn't give us much at all. What we did get was kind of interesting. As far as I took it, there's going to be no PvP gear. It's going to scale. They're going to have artifact transmog cosmetic things, like the purple Ashbringer is actually a PvP prestige customizable transmog, but I don't know. And there's some cool stuff. It has their own talents and stuff like that. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully they do something right with that. It is what it is. The map did not seem very big, but hopefully they have us into the world. Like maybe they're like, all right, we need you to go raid in Crossroads or something. I don't know. Maybe they'll take us into Azeroth a little bit deeper. They're taking us all over in Azeroth at the moment, right? Because when you're trying to get your new spec weapon or whatever, you know, Frost Death Knights are heading back to ICC. You know, everybody's going everywhere. Monks are going back into Pandaria. It is what it is, you know. I'm sure warriors are going to have to go get Hellscream's weapon or whatever it is, whoever has it. I don't know. It's crazy. So they're gonna be taking us all over in the beginning of the expansion, which is gonna be kind of fun and kind of smart. Because what it does is, instead of having everybody stuck in one area as they're leveling, they're spreading us out into the world depending on our specs and depending on our classes. So I think that's kind of a cool idea, and then we'll probably meet up at like level 102 or something in some of the zones, and I don't know. We'll see how it works. But I think it's kind of a cool idea. So I wanted to kind of cover those things, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this little Let's Talk. There was a lot of things that were brought up, and a lot of things are left unanswered. They haven't even completed the cinematic. Like, they say they were working on this for like over a year, which would mean they were working on this when WoW was made, showing us that WoW was a filler expansion, which sucks. You know, it's like, okay, you know, well, let me bend over for you. You know, here's my money. You know, that's pretty much what it was. But hey, hopefully they do a good job, and hopefully everything goes good. So, it's what it is. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this little Let's Talk, make sure to give it a like, and I'll do more when certain things come up. I just, you know, it's just kind of new to me. Just talking over the recording for, you know, almost, 15 minutes about my thoughts and things. I don't know how interested you guys are in my thoughts, but I just thought I'd make it for you. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys are having fun. I'll be putting up some more videos tomorrow and the next day and so on. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. If you have some friends that are maybe interested in some of my content, share it with them. That's how I get new subscribers, is by you guys recommending it to your friends, or sharing it on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit, or wherever you share it, to give people information. That's how I get bigger, and that's how I get more subs. So just want to thank you guys for helping me out, and I'll talk to you guys soon.